Hello, we are talking today with Jeff Paxton. I said that correctly?
You did.
Okay,
You did.
good. And the reason I'm speaking with you is because you've worked with Judge John Noverini in probate court where he was the presiding judge.
I did.
Which is, to me, a new term. Can you kind of explain a little bit about that and how you've worked with him?
Absolutely. Probate is the process through which decedent's estates are administered. When somebody dies and they don't have a trust or something like that, their assets need to be distributed to the heirs, relatives, friends, family, whatever the will says. There's a lot of moving parts in probate, and it requires a judge who knows the law and can make sure that everything is done correctly. Also, too, probate is the guardianships over disabled adults and minor children. That can go over many different reasons. Your parents have deceased. Sometimes mom or dad isn't prepared or ready to be a parent at that time. So those children need to have a solid home where they can be taken care of. And John always made sure that those kids and those disabled people had a good basis and a good life.
That's fantastic. And in our conversation, you've worked in the courts since 2013?
That's correct.
Yes, 2013. And so you've worked with many judges.
I have.
And can you tell us a couple of things? I know there's one very important thing you'd like to share. Things that you noticed that really stood out with John.
Whenever we had somebody come in for an adult guardianship, one of the procedures is that they had to be served. They have to be notified that somebody is trying to become their guardian. And one of those things is John would always want to meet the disabled person. He would come out of chambers and come out into the hallway wearing his robe sometimes not, and just meet him and talk to him, shake their hand and let him know who he was and kind of what was going on. He would introduce himself. And that always struck me as being very personal and kind of takes the fear away from what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
As well as the little kids, grandma and grandpa would bring in their grandkids and he would talk to them and everything and just kind of set them at ease. And they loved seeing, the judge on the bench with the robe and everything. It was all really cool to them. So I thought that was really nice.
That sensitivity is huge.
Oh, absolutely. He had a feel for the kids and for the families as to the gravity of what was going on, and I think that he put a lot of people at ease.
And where, from your observations of John, where would you say the foundation comes from that he does have this compassion and patience and kindness?
I believe it's a couple things: his love of people, his love of family. His understanding, his just compassion, which is something you don't see in a lot of judges. They say that the law can be blind, and while in many ways it should be, John saw every case and every person as an individual, which again stood out to me. Not a lot of judges will do that, and he let the law rule where he was going. And as well as the law, one thing that I remember every day, I would walk into his chambers and he would have his Bible laid out on his desk and he had a highlighter and he would highlight passages. That's what he would do before he took the bench every morning. And it always struck me that somebody who allowed God to lead him every day, that was one of the laws and one of the rules and the backbone of what he did. That's amazing, so that really struck me as unique.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because that's not something I would ever visualize when I've pictured any judge. So,
and he wouldn't proselytize from the bench. He wouldn't throw that out there, and I don't think anybody but a select few knew that. And it's something that he was just kept very personal and to himself, which was important, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing it, because now everybody will know it's not, as you said, it was something he kept personally. Not personal anymore. It's an important, a really important character trait to share. So thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.